It's a pleasure to be here today. Maja Zelihic is the program chair for the Master of Arts in Program Management. Gail Hoskyns is the program chair for Operations Management and Analysis. And I am Don McKay, Associate Dean for Management Studies, and the three of us are very glad to be here today. We will introduce the concept in this presentation, and then Maja will talk about the application of the process we've developed to Management 601, an important course within the MAOM and MBA degrees. Gail will talk about the BUS 308 course and how she's used this process to address items, and this course is in 13 of our undergraduate degrees. Then we will address conclusions and next steps, and then Maja will address some closing remarks on administration so you can access this presentation later. We have two key goals. The focus is on student learning success through quality curriculum that enables students to exceed future expectations. That's our major goal. Also, we want to empower faculty with the means to develop effective solutions to enhance student learning success and increase successful course completion. We also want to provide a means for ongoing improvement involving everyone. Increase the success of solutions by understanding first what are the problems, then use existing theory and benchmarking best practices, and finally root causes. And essentially root causes answer the question, why is this course not doing as well as we expected or hoped? Key metrics are, the main one is successful course completion. Drop rate would be another one, and another metric would be course failures, if students fail the course. This is the process that the team used. First, the process is triggered by KPIs, could be key performance indicators that tell us that the drop rate is too high or the failure rate is too high, or successful course completion is too low. We look at these metrics all the time, and they help us determine how a course is doing. Another way to tell whether a course is doing is using qualitative feedback that we get from both students and faculty. Then we develop a high-level problem statement. It can be reasonably generic, but we want to state what's the problem with this course? What are the symptoms that we're seeing or hearing about? Once we understand the problem statement, we move on to the heart of this process. We look at theory and benchmarking. For example, we do a literature review to understand what are the issues, what are best practices that have been used elsewhere. So we don't repeat the things we don't need to. We also look to identify root causes. Why is the course not performing the way we expect? So benchmarking, looking at existing theories and root causes help us determine if we have an academic issue with the course. Sometimes drop rates could be, for example, due to personal reasons or financial reasons that are not related to academic issues. But a lot of times we can improve the course, and academic issues do have a bearing. If it is an academic issue, then we look at alternative solutions and begin to execute those solutions. Once we execute the solutions and launch the new course, we monitor the KPIs to see if we're realizing the improvements that we expected. If we see improvement, that's great. We would be somewhat done, and we would learn lessons, and we could pass those lessons learned on to others. However, if we're not seeing improvement, we need to take a look at our original problem statement and perhaps the theories that we were depending upon or the root causes, and revisit the issues until we ensure that we get the course to be where we need it. Also, the process is ongoing. It's not just one time. We may do it 1 year and then again repeat it in the following year because it's a dynamic business world and things have changed, and they may impact the course as well. So we should use it over time. This is a checklist that faculty and the program chairs can use, or anyone who's designing a new course can take a look at. What are some of the issues to take a look at? Faculty performance. What are students saying to us? Look at the instructions, the textbook quality and the cost of the textbook. Look at when students are dropping, and a number of other issues that we may want to look at to determine what is going on in the course and where we may be able to improve. Maja?
Thank you, Don. As I inherited the master's degree in organizational management as a program chair, I was made aware of 3 courses that have the highest retention issues. One of those 3 courses was NGP 601, The Functions of Modern Management. As far as the course sequence, this was the 2nd course in MAOM sequence, coming right after the BUS 600. When we look at the drop rate in 2015, we are seemingly improving. When we look at the first quarter with a drop rate of 30.64, the second one 24.10, the third 19.40, and the fourth one 12.18. The first thing that I was focusing on, I said to myself, well, considering this was the course deemed as the course having the highest retention issue, why is this course seemingly improving? I found out that the course was slightly revised in June of 2015, and at that point of time, 2 assignments were eliminated. So I was trying to see if there was any correlation between the changes within the course and the significant drop in the actual drop rate in 2015. Then I started looking, without making any conclusions, I started looking at the rate of failure. And here we also had, in 2013 to 2014, the fail rate was 9.5. 1,015 students attempted the course, 105 failed the course. The fail rate dropped in 2014-2015. At this point of time, it was 8.9. Out of 1,358 attempts, 129 students failed the course. And as Don was explaining, we were just looking at each variable at first individually without making correlations, coming up with any sort of conclusions, actually taking an in-depth look into every single variable and then coming up with solution and coming up with findings at the end. So we approach this as a true research project. Some of the further variables that we were considering was the credit hour analysis, faculty performance, and the actual textbook. When it comes to the credit hour analysis, the course was revised in June 2015 with week 1 and week 3 assignments being changed and eliminated. Current credit hour analysis shows 210.70 hours, which opens up a discussion for a possibility of elimination of some required articles that are not necessarily impacting the assignments. Then we also looked at the textbook. The textbook was a good quality textbook. It was a Plunkett, Allen, and Aetna Management Meeting and Exceeding Customer Expectation textbook. Now, when we were looking at the students' end of the course survey, we were looking at some of the patterns, some of the trends within those surveys, and we realized that many students are indicating that the textbook is quite expensive. There were some instances of students dropping out due to that. Then we teamed up with a graduate student advising, and this proved as a truly a gold mine of data that was available to us. Because basically what the graduate student advising was letting us know was some of the drop reasons. So we at first looked at the very small time period, January 15, 2016 to March 15, 2016. And I was looking at the reasons behind the students' drops, and administrative were 13. I said to myself, well, what are those administrative reasons? And I went back to the graduate advising, and as I went back to graduate advising, they told me that many of those students did not pass the course, one course prior in the sequence, which was BUS 600. So they were seemingly enrolled in MGT 601 as if they were meeting the requirements, but actually they failed to satisfy the requirements in the prior course in the sequence. The rest of the reasons were some of the students, of course, failed the course prior. As I mentioned, some of the students had some medical reasons. Some students noted personal reasons. Only one student had no book, and there were a few that were student conduct, which were associated with the prior course. End of the course survey was leading us to believe that course was, in students' opinion, quite challenging. The students were mentioning the issue pertaining to the textbook, indicating that textbook is quite expensive or the textbook is hard to understand. The workload was heavy, especially for working students. 14 comments in the period of 2014 to 2015 out of 561 surveys indicated that. The challenging course, 40 comments. And the textbook and assigned readings were difficult to understand, 11 comments. When it comes to the some of the other data pertaining to the end of the course survey, we were understanding that some of the assignments had to say as far as how difficult the book was to read, and some of the assignments were difficult due to the nature of the assignment, due to the nature of the content. As we were looking at all the variables that I've just mentioned, including the instances of plagiarizing, including the instances of the library not being used, for example, in BUS 600, the students were required to use the library as per the assignment. Nature of the assignments, one of the assignments was asking them to conduct the search within our library. However, since this particular course, MGT 601, did not have that particular assignment, students stopped using the library altogether. And I also conducted a mini case study. I was looking at a few of my courses at the beginning of the year, and I started to look at, for example, January class trends. 4 students dropped without posting anything week 1. 5 out of 17 either didn't post the second discussion or posted it too late with late penalty, losing points. 1 submitted week 2 and week 4 paper were posted, but then they never participated. So all those issues combined led me to believe that there's something much more at stake here than just the textbook issues or just the plagiarizing issues, or just the fact that students feel that the course is difficult in content, or the fact that students are either overwhelmed with the assignments or not understanding the assignments. So combining each one of those variables, the conclusion that my team made was that students are not ready for the graduate level curriculum. Students are not equipped to have proper critical skills, critical thinking skills, library research skills, citing proper sources, utilizing APA in a proper format in order to satisfy the requirements of the course. We were thinking of suggesting an orientation module that will be a standalone orientation module that will equip our students with the skills needed for the graduate studies. Then we found out that there is an initiative that is being conducted on behalf of the College of Education where they're actually building adaptive learning modules within their first entrance course. Because BUS 600 is the entrance course in the vast majority of our graduate programs, we at that point of time decided to team up with the College of Education and actually start working on implementation of those adaptive learning modules that will be adapted between the weeks of 1 and 3, and they will prepare our students and they will equip them with the skills that are required for the graduate study program. That was our solution. That was our proposed solution in order to address the failure and dropping out issues within this course. With this said, I will hand it over to Gail at this point of time.
Thank you, Maja. And as Maja mentioned, another course we analyzed is BUS 308, Statistics for Managers. And BUS 308 is used by 13 undergraduate programs in the Forbes School of Business and Technology. And this course has more unsuccessful course completions than many of the programs in the school. So the next slide will show some of these statistics. And these statistics are from the third quarter on December 15th, 2015. And as you can see, there were 408 successful course completions out of 631 attempts. And this makes for over 35% of the attempts to be drops and failures, and just over 64% are successful completions. This impacts students because they are being financially hurt and are losing time to complete their degrees. So we used this systematic improvement process to do a root cause analysis in June of 2016. And many of the sources were used, such as you can see here, and of course surveys, in-class student feedback, faculty forums, program reviews, IQRs, faculty feedback. We reached out to student advisors, and we did some research on student learning. And so when we looked at the root causes, the two main potential causes of the high dropout and failure rates of BUS 308 were found to be the learning method used for quantitative material and the text being too difficult and with too many errors. The research found that using a more of a step-by-step or chunking type method can provide students with a better method of learning quantifiable and math type material compared to doing the weekly discussions and essays type. So another root cause we found was that many of the students expressed being overwhelmed with all of the reading. As we said earlier, they found the text being too difficult. And when we, it also had a lot of errors. And when we put corrections of the text in the classroom, some students said they were even more confused with all the corrections. So we came up with some solutions. And to redesign the course, we used guidance from research and the guidance of the instructional design group. And we're using a step-by-step process as a best practice learning method for quantifiable and math-type material. The student will go into the course and they'll find multiple short, small lectures for each week instead of one great big long one. And then the student will progress from one lecture and assignment activity to the next lecture and assignment activity. And the lectures are customized to walk the students through each of the assignments and also walk them through the term project. So they will have multiple assignments each week, all leading up to a final outcome. And we're also aligning the course with current career wants and needs. Another feature of the course is a 24/7 tutoring service that's being piloted currently. And we found that many students don't want to go to the instructor for help, or it might be the middle of the night and students would like immediate help. So they can access the tutor service straight from the course room for live, immediate help. It's also common knowledge that people go to the internet to find their answers and solutions and ways to learn. And so the new design of the course includes a bibliography section. And the bibliography area is where the students can ask questions, they can look up solutions, and they can share resources with each other. And we also found that many of our students drop the first week. And we think that they just get overwhelmed with all the current reading assignments, all the resources listed, the Excel assignments, the discussion assignments, the quizzes, etc. And so we are not including an assignment in the first week. They do have they do have some small activities, but there isn't any portion of the main assignment in the first week. So with this step type or progressive process, it is our hope that the students will come into the course and they can quickly realize that they are comfortable with the workload and that they can successfully complete the course. So now I'm going to turn it over to Don McKay for some closing statements.
So as you can see, the courses were very different. We're talking about a graduate course that deals with management issues and is very qualitative in nature. The other course was very quantitative and dealt with statistics. So we have very different solutions for each of these courses. Yet a common process was used that evaluated the existing theory, benchmarking, and root cause analysis. Those tools could be used for these very different courses. And a common checklist was also helpful. As you'll notice, each speaker, Gail and Maja, used the checklist, but each focused on different evaluators that were more important to their course. So these were the major conclusions. So what are the next steps? We're going to continue to monitor the courses after the solutions are implemented. We're going to share lessons learned from this experience with faculty and staff as through the Learning Conference. Thank you very much.
What I would like to finish with is to alert everyone who's listening to this recording that we uploaded 2 documents for your review. One of the documents is a TLC high-risk course improvement process diagram. And that is the process diagram that Dawn explained at the beginning of the presentation. So feel free to use that diagram as you start looking at some of your high-risk courses. And we would love to hear your feedback as to whether that process is working for you. In order for you to see what the final report looked like for one of those 2 courses, also feel free to download the Functions of Modern Management High-Risk Course Report dated June 6, 2016, that is also here for your viewing pleasure. This recorded presentation will be posted on the TLC mobile app. So feel free to post questions for our team, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Also, this presentation will be posted on TLC YouTube channel, and you can post your questions there as well, and our team will be happy to assist you with any questions you may have. Let us know how you're doing with your high-risk courses reviews, and let us know if we can help in any way. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a wonderful day.